Following the resignation of Cassel Mathale as the Premier of Limpopo, Stanley Mathabatha has been appointed to take over the realms, and he joins us this morning to tell us more about his plans and his vision for the province of Limpopo. You at home can, of course, join into our discussion by calling us. Our digits are at the bottom of your screens, and you can also comment on our Facebook and Twitter pages. Baba, thank you so very much for joining us, and good morning.
Good morning.
Having taken over the realms, which departments would you say would require much of your attention?
Obviously, I think the two big departments, health and education, would need a lot of attention, followed by economic development.
And in your view, having assessed the departments, what would you say are the major challenges that you are faced with in those major departments?
Well, the collapse of systems, the collapse and neglect of proper following of proper procedures. I think those are the things that, for now, would need immediate attention. And that would be my focal point.
When you came into office, you let go of about 8 MECs in the province out of 10. Kindly take us through the rationale behind it.
Well, when I went into that office, the first thing that I needed to do was to restore the brand image of the province, brand Limpopo. And you don't do that with the old furniture, You need to start renovating the house, renovating everything that is in that house, And I said to myself, I'm not just going to go in there and become a blind bull and clear everything there. I will go and analyze each and everything in accordance with the type of vision that I want, the type of immediate deliverables that I want, and see as to whether all those people who are there will be in the position to can meet my plans for that time. So I realized that about 8 of them were not really in my plans, and then 2 were in my immediate plans. And I said, at the end of the day, this is what I need. Then I identified other people who could fulfill those positions that I had made vacant.
Speaking of restoring the brand of Limpopo, we've seen that with the ruling party in the province, there has been a degree of factionalism. The cracks are imminent there. How will you go about restoring that unity within the province so as to restore that brand that you speak about?
I am responsible for government. I am not the provincial task team that is responsible for restructuring and rebuilding the structures of the ANC. That is not my task. My task is that of restoring the pride of Limpopo in government. So what I'm going to do is to concentrate on that, on government. The factionalism within the ANC and the like, I am trying by almost to close one eye to that and concentrate on what I'm supposed to do. But if it happens that it comes on my way, I will deal with that time.
All right. I do have a caller on the line, Nkona from Soweto. Good morning to you, and I hope that your TV set is off. What is your question or your comment?
Yes. Good morning, ma'am. How are you?
Well, thank you, and yourself.
Very good. Mr. Mathabatha.
So, say again, Nkona, we can't hear.
Mr. Mathabatha.
All right, Nkona, okay.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Yes, can I speak to Mr. Mathabatha? Mr. Mathabatha, how are you?
I'm fine, and how are you, Nkuna? If okay.
Very good. Very good. My name is Nkuna. I'm coming from a deep rural area in Diani, at Cassel. We are very much happy about that you've been selected due to the scandal that was happening there, because ever since we voted in 1994, there is nothing progress that is happening in our province. Please, we want you, administration, to take a look at the deep rural area of Dian in Cassel village. Please, what are you going to do with the unperforming councillors that are there? I'm saying this to you now. We've got a problem with electricity. The poles are falling. Now it's summer. Any time around the corner, the time ticking bomb of electricity will happen because the poles are falling. We report to the councillors, there is nothing that they're doing. We report to the municipality, there is nothing that they are doing. What number can you give us to call and confirm all these incidents that are happening here?
All right, thanks for that, Nkuna. I'm going to highlighting the major issue of service delivery in the province.
Okay. Nkuna, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Nkuna. I think the fact that you do know that you've got councillors and the councillors are not doing their job, I would urge you to pursue that matter either through the local structures in that area in Giyani and areas, because there are local structures there, like you would have your ward committees, you would have your mayoral committees, and if you're still not finding any satisfaction out after that, I would urge you to call directly to my office. You would get there is Mohali Nchabeleng is the chief of staff there. I just don't have his number, but I think I'll make it available before the end of this show. Or perhaps I can leave it with the talk show host here. You can call him, or else call me directly on my number. I don't know as to whether I can give out my number.
You can leave it with us, sir.
Yes,
and we'll
it's
be
a
able
public
to
number.
relate.
It's not a problem.
All right, you can give it out, sir, if it's a public number.
Yes, it's 083 256 0077.
But what Nkuna highlights, Baba, is just a reflection of the level of maladministration, so to say, within the communities of Limpopo that reflects back to the level of maladministration in government departments. Hence, several of them were taken over due to financial maladministration, so forth and so on. How do you hope to possibly get some of those departments back under the control and watchful eye of your office?
Like I said, you know, the most important thing now is to get the systems right, so that this problem that Nkuna is raising, you know, I must not wait for Nkuna to raise that problem. I must be in the position to can detect that from head office, where I'm sitting in my office. I must be in the position to can detect that very quickly and address it before even Nkuna could raise it. Because once a person complains about thirst, it means the damage is already done. And we don't want to reach that stage.
All right. I've got two callers on the line. Mukhari from Seshego, I do recognize I will get to you in a short while. Let's take Thabo from Limpopo. Good morning to you, Thabo. What is your question or your comment?
Okay, good morning. My name is Thabo from Limpopo. I've got one question for Mr. Mathabatha. My question is that there are some 5 departments which are under administration. And then those departments, there are some certain students who are at school. They have taken them to the universities, but now they are saying they can't fulfill their contract. I wanted to know on such issues, or how is he going to deal with those?
All right. Thanks for that. Let me take Mukhari from Seshego before Obaba Mathabatha responds. Good morning, Mukhari. What is your question or your comment?
Morning, how are you?
Well, thank you, and yourself?
I'm fine. I'd like to talk to the Premier about, we are working as HIV counselors. We haven't got paid from much. The Department of Health didn't fund our NGO, and we are striking, and we are doing a very good job at the clinics and the hospitals.
All right.
So I'd like to know if the Premier knows anything about that, or is willing to help us, because we are so willing to help the patient. Every day we go to work, but we don't get paid.
All right.
Let me understand something. Is it the Provincial Department of Health that was financing you? Or the National Department?
Mukhari, was it the Provincial Department of Health that was funding you, or was it the national?
The Department of Health has to fund the NGO that we work under, so they didn't fund them for much.
Right. Is this the national? The provincial.
Oh.
All right.
Yes.
Please leave your contact details with our producers there, and we'll try and keep those. Ndate, your response?
Surely, I don't know the reason why the Provincial Department of Health did not want to continue financing you, but I'll certainly make a follow-up. If you leave us with your phone number, we'll make a follow-up, and then I'm sure the Department of Health will be able to respond to you. The other question was?
Thabo also touched on the departments that went under
under administration. Yes, we do have departments, provincial departments that are under Section 100B. But maybe to comfort Thabo, one should tell you that those departments, almost all of them, have shown some form, in fact, marked form of improvement. There's been a radical form of improvement since the administrators took over. So I wouldn't ourselves together with the administrators who are working very harmoniously, we are working closely to each other. There is no ways in which anything can happen there that we don't know. They consult with us in almost everything that they are doing. Remember, they are there to assist us, to help us. So I would say things are running very smoothly between us and the administrators.
We've got more views from our viewers at home on our Facebook page. Let's cross over to Cindy, who will give us more on that. Over to you, Cindy.
So all our viewers who commented on Facebook, will go through those comments. We're trying to have an objective and unbiased discussion on Limpopo, one of the most troublesome or problematic provinces in recent history. So the comments from Kabelo Cheki, or rather Litleji, says, I urge Premier Mathabatha to pay a surprise visit to Lepelle Nkumpi municipality and see what's happening. As residents of Bulatla Khomo in Zebediela, we won't fall for ANC lies again. They won't get our votes until he visits us. And Katleho says, I'm not trying to be rude, but where does Stanley come from? And how is he going to work with the people if he knows nothing about them? One from Lucas Ramaliba, he says, he must get rid of the whole corrupt officials and lead by example. And also he must be hands-on, not just sit in the office and do nothing. One from Arthur Angrybird, he must listen to the community, start with service delivery and shuffle staff, especially the Malema followers of faction. Mulikhadi says he must fight against fraud and corruption. And this really resonates with a number of our viewers, saying that Limpopo has been marred by controversy. We don't even talk about the textbook or the education textbook saga, but that officials who are not worthy to be in those positions need to be eradicated with immediate effect. And that's a look at our Facebook page for this morning. Back to you.
All right, thanks for that, Cindy. One thing that I'd like to highlight from one of our Facebook viewers at home, speaking a lot of, you can tell from the despondency, saying that if the ANC does not visit, we will not fall for their lies, and so forth and so on. How would you restore hope and faith back into those communities?
My first outreach program, immediately when I was appointed, I went to Nkumpilepel. I visited a village called Makuru. It was on the 18th of last month of July. That was my first official engagement. So it's not like I don't know anything about Nkumpilepel. I've been there. I grew up, I studied in that area around Nkumpilepel. I know where Bulatla Khomo is, and I can assure him that I'll definitely via Bulatla Khomo and find out what is happening there. But the municipality of Nkumpilepel, I via that place almost on a weekly basis. I via that place almost on a weekly basis. I know there are challenges, serious challenges. And I'm not going to pretend to our people that things are running very smooth in these municipalities. There are challenges in municipalities throughout the country. Nkumpilepel is not an exception to that. And we are working very hard, tirelessly to deal with those problems. Because remember, the municipality is the cold face of delivery. That's where our people are,
But looking at
the first entry of government for our people.
All right. But looking at the province of Limpopo, you did mention that there are quite a number of challenges and there is a need for skills development, employment creation, so forth and so on. How will you go about really pushing that agenda so as to keep the people in Limpopo and to cultivate them along with the resources of the province to generate the economy there?
Yes, I mean, if you look at the amount of money that the provincial government alone is dispatching out of procurement of goods and services, you would realize that if that money is properly managed, if we make it a point that that rent really do circulate within the province, I'm telling you, would put a serious dent to unemployment in that province. But you can't do that if your systems in your provincial government departments, in your parastatals, are not right. That is why I'm saying the most important thing for me now is to try and get those systems right.
What are some of the unique, so to say, resources that may be found in Limpopo? And
Limpopo currently, in terms of your what you would call your economic competitive advantageous areas, Limpopo is very rich with minerals, raw material. We've got almost every mineral that is mined in this country. In Limpopo, you'd find that. But as long as it is still underground, there is no value it's of no value to an ordinary unemployed person on the ground. Limpopo is rich with agriculture, But as long as we don't do anything with that rich soil, we don't do anything good where we continue transforming or perhaps turning those plowing fields into game farms and golf courses. It will make no sense to an ordinary person on the ground. Limpopo is a legend of it's a province of legends in terms of tourism. Hence, you would know that it was normally referred to as the golden horseshoe of tourism.
Having said that, Baba, holistically, and just to sum it up for us, what is your vision and your plan holistically for the province, for your tenure?
If you had met me 7 months from now, I would tell you that in 5-10 years to come, Limpopo, some areas in Limpopo, you think of areas such as Beggarsford, areas such as Lephalale, would be emerging cities, advanced emerging African cities of this country.
All right. We'll continue our discussion after our news headlines at 7 o'clock. And Cindy is standing by with the latest competition. Over to you, Cindy.